Hello and welcome to 2B Tweaks. Today's topic, not a mixing desk. We are in the middle of Norway, in the middle of nowhere. You heard that right. In Finnmark, way up north, looking for free stuff. I showed you free mixing desk on this channel the last 2 days. Today's topic, how to get free gold. Well, the answer is you go somewhere where there is gold in the ground and you mine it. And one spot is not very well known, but we found it. It's here, way up north in Norway. So let's get it out. Okay, so here inside of this saloon, as they call it, some things are already here. There is enough buckets. There's remains of sluices in here. Right, and there also is some pans. There is Spaten and Schaufeln, you would say in German. So things to get your material into the bucket. But what you would definitely want to bring yourself is sifts. If you're going pan only, or your own high banker. We tried using a sluice here down the river, and there's another spot to dig at the river. I'll show you maybe as well. They call it Shotgun Creek, but the material there is not as good. And then we also tried getting the material to the river to wash it there in the sluice. But I can tell you, in here the material is actually so good that if you're doing it right, you get gold in every pan, so you can just sift it, pan it, have a good time at this sand spot down there that is for panning. And then of course there's tales from people that doing it more large scale here with a high banker, with power stations and whatnot, to wash it here industrial style, and they get up to 3 to 5, I think 5 grams of gold per day, which is crazy if you think about it, but that's an insane amount of material. And then don't forget, we are very remote here. So, yeah, now let me grab a bucket and I take you down to the best digging spot here. There's digging spots all over from different time zones. We are going to the one that we dug here the last days. So I'm grabbing the bucket with a handle at best. Let me see. This one's alright. I have my gloves so I can really scrape out material from under the rocks. Now let's go. Very beautiful nature here. I don't think this spot is very known. These outside of this area, but it's very beautiful, and you can just come here and dig. Now look at this site. Let me go the long way to show you a bit how it looks like here. So yeah, there's holes everywhere, but most of them, you can see this pile very, very old. Some piles more recent. Now some of the holes during winter, the earth comes down and then it looks like this. And I think if you just dig away some of the sand there, you'll be able to get gold as well. Some have massive overhang. That would be too dangerous for me to dig. I don't want to be end up under a pile of sand and stones here. Some very, very interesting stones everywhere. I mean, look at this green. Very beautiful. And then imagine that all of this is an old riverbed, but it is pre-Ice Age. So it all got compressed by glaciers, but because it was an old riverbed that carried gold, you find these gold carrying layers here that you can dig out. Now, these holes, for example, are quite dangerous. You don't want all of this coming down. Of course, the trees and their roots protect a little bit, but the massive stones, they call them widow makers out here. Yeah, you do want to get back home safely. Now let's get to the main digging spot. And that is down there. Yes, and this is where you also see the gold carrying layers more easily. And then I show you where I'm digging. So we did there, that's all right. This left side was carrying the most gold recently. And then if I get closer, you see this black earth that is around these big rocks that was collecting under or near these rocks. And then also sometimes you have red earth. Yes, but also you have massive boulders that you do want to take care. I bump them from time to time to check if they're loose. And just recently, where is it? This guy, I had him coming down. You see, he's still wet. He was in the earth. Now it's kind of a risky game. Of course, you want to be safe out here, right? Safety first. But this hole is actually looking pretty flat. This overhang here is protected by a tree. And then some of the stones, they're actually pretty far in. So this stone that came down, it had a massive overhang already. And then there's some others, like you see this stone there. I bumped it 1,000 times. It's so stuck in the ground. Of course, you don't know how far it goes in. But still, safety first. Now let me show you how I dig. And I'll set up the camera. All right, so I have my bucket here. And we do a bucket, maybe half a bucket together. I don't want to do too much on camera because I want to also be very concentrated. Like I said, safety first. Very important, very important. And then that's a tool that was also already here. This guy, and that's what you use because the earth, like I said, pre-ice age, is very, always gotta be careful. The earth here is very, very compressed. So if I would just go in with a shovel, I wouldn't achieve much. Now if I look here, I can see it shimmering inside of these layers already. Now a lot of it is pirate as well. Don't be fooled by the fool's gold. Not everything. So what I'm doing is just scraping away at these rocks. Layers. Nice. Check in. Check in. Okay. Looking good. How's this done? Still solid. Okay. I did my work with the metal bar. Now let me show you how the material looks like on the ground, and then we get it into the bucket. There it is. Came down. Now you want to find these bigger rocks and then the material under it. It's supposed to be very rich in gold. That's why we're working under here as well. Like I said, be very careful. They don't want to be coming down on you. But they are, because the soil is so compressed and there's other stones holding it, they're pretty firm in place. So yeah, let's get this into the bucket. Whew. Yes! And there it is. Half a bucket. I did more buckets before, but like I said, for video purposes, I'm only doing minimal work. And yeah, now let's get the bigger stones out and see if there's any gold in this. There it is. Ooh. As I said, this material is like concrete and it dissolves a bit in water, but I don't like to do this rough sifting in the water already, so I'll just smack down the bigger pieces where I see that's not a rock, that's compressed earth. And on some rocks I scrape them if I see that they have nice material on them. No, I didn't show you a piece, but I have a very big one in my other pen that I thought was quite cool. There you see it. It's just compressed like concrete. What a beautiful atmosphere, right? Let's get our bucket. A bit windier than the last days, and I have to make sure that my pan does not float away. Let me get it. So here we have all the tools needed for now. A finer sift and our pan. So what I do is I load up. I can stack them on top. I load it up with 1, 2, 3, 4, and a lucky number 5 scoops or pay dirt, and then I sift it in water. Making sure that if some of the hard concretey earth is still compressed, making sure and makes it through the Sift. One last time. And off go the bigger stones. Now I've yet to find a nugget in here. I looked through all of the Sifts before and I just stopped doing it when I figured, well, the kind of gold that you find here is very fine. And if we find some, I will show you. Now this is not supposed to be a tutorial on how to pan gold. There is guys out there that are doing it for years. I learned it this week. So I won't explain how I do it, just enjoy the vibe. Now, final review. First pan of the day. Yeah, there it is. Nice. And I'll show you. Now, don't get hyped. The gold that you find here is not very big. If it was, you would find industrial scale gold mining here. But you find just enough to make it worth the dig and be a fun and also rewarding experience. There it is. It looks so much smaller on camera than it does in real life. Yeah, macro lens. See, that's my iPhone. There it is, finger for scale. Yes, let's put that in the glass. That's one of the smaller ones. We found pieces that were up to 5, 6, 7 times this size, but nothing that you would consider a real nugget or anything. But that was just one pan, right? There's more in this bucket that I will do. And then, will I be able to show you what was just in this bucket? That would be cool. Maybe I'll try to collect these on a separate pan before I put them in the glass. Let's go. Alright, and here we are, 3.5 pans later. And can you see it? There it is, 2 pieces of gold. The second one I got was a little bit bigger. You can see I picked out some of there's this one metal that has titanium in it. I picked out some of those as well for collection. And yeah, 2 pieces of gold in 3.5 pans. That's a good average for what you find here. Now, how long did it take? How much is that worth? I don't know. I think it's super cool that it is possible to find here. And then I would have loved to show you the panning process from first person, because it's a bit like gambling. You don't know if there's gold in your pan, and then the moment it reveals and there is gold, it's actually quite rewarding. In the end, not every pan does have gold. It's a bit like fishing or hunting. Not every time you throw out, you get a fish, but it is here that you do find gold every day, not just in every pan, and it's not super much. So don't expect to get rich, but expect to have a fantastic time. Beautiful. Yep. And that was my take on how to get that free gold. If you liked the last couple minutes with me, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a commentary, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.